Hello everyone, my name is Basti and I'm an independent trader with years of experience in the crypto markets. If you're looking for the latest information for daily chart analysis, and if you're looking for trading predictions as well as trading news, then you've come to the right place. Let's go. Good morning guys and welcome back to my channel. Good Monday to all of you. And finally, we're able to see a weekly close like the one that we had yesterday. Also, as you can see here on the weekly chart, the MACD indicator has finally crossed, and that is of course a very bullish sign. So we're going to be looking at how we can trade this. We're going to be looking at what we can expect, all of the relevant information regarding the current status or the current situation in the market. So again, here on the weekly chart, you can see that finally our two lines here for the MACD have crossed, and we are starting to go into the green. That's something that we haven't seen since, let's have a look here, since the 20-something of April of 2020, so already almost 2 years ago. And that's of course when we started our big bull run that you see here. And so now, of course, for us currently, the question is if that means that this is going to be the case yet again, that we do start another bull run that could bring the price from a technical perspective all the way to about $80,000 to $90,000 dollars. So that, of course, remains to be seen, but things are starting to look rather solid at the moment. Another thing, as we remain here on the weekly chart, of course, we do have this ascendant triangle that we formed already for a couple of months. And as you can see, finally, we had a very solid closing for the week. I mean, really, it doesn't get any more bullish than this. I mean, I guess it could, but you can see barely there's any top to the wick here. And technically, you can also apply this to the smaller time frames, but on the weekly, it's even more of a bullish sign that when you have a closing like this, then things are meant to, turn for the better. Another thing to look at here is since November of last year, we haven't had a solid closing like this for the weekly that is way above our EMA line indicators. So all that is very good news for Bitcoin. On the weekly, still is possible that we go back and retest our EMA ribbons here at around 46,800 and then actually get the price pumping even higher. So that is a possibility. If we go into the daily chart, also here, things are looking very nicely. In fact, I've been telling you guys, it is important for Bitcoin to have a daily close above our 200 EMA ribbon, and that's exactly what we did. It took a couple of days for us to push through. Finally, you can see this big solid green candle here has brought us way above our EMA line, for the 200 EMA line. So that as well is something to be excited about and something that brings confidence to the price of Bitcoin. Now, one thing that you do have to be very careful and keep in mind, especially today, is that there is a possible CME Gap that forms during the weekend. What that means is on Friday, the futures, the Bitcoin futures, for example, they close just like the traditional markets close. And so, of course, if there is a big move over the weekend, either towards the upside or the downside, then usually on Monday, the futures market likes to close that gap and try to, go back to where it left off on Friday. So if we look at the chart here, you can see that there is an interesting gap over here that could be closed today, and the bottom of the gap is at 44,300 US dollars. So again, that is to say that we could go back to retest our EMA ribbons here before continuing the move towards the upside. So do keep that in mind also, because as you can see here on the 4-hour chart, our 13 and our 21 EMA ribbons are down here, and Bitcoin loves to do that, especially on the 4-hour chart. it loves to go back and always retest these lines for support. You can see this here over and over again. So even here, there is a big possibility that we try and close the gap here. So if you haven't been in the market, if if you didn't open a long position, this might be an entry point for you. This is not direct advice, but it's something to consider. And even yesterday, when we had this breakout, I announced it on my Telegram group. And so that's why I encourage you guys to join. It's completely free. And I'm always updating, posting relevant information. I also, for example, here posted this graphic with the amount of short liquidations that took place yesterday. So all this to say that you are welcome to join. It's completely free. And this information is always very useful, always very relevant to the current situation and the market. So what is the outlook for the price of Bitcoin? So if we go back into our daily chart, here we can see that we find ourselves finally once again into this big red resistance area. And so I mentioned to you guys that we right now are at 40, or this area is around 47,300 US dollars. And I mentioned to all of you that if we get past this little empty area here, then quickly we could move up to our bigger resistance zone up here again at 47,300 US dollars. So we might remain in a horizontal or in a sideways move for some time before the price continues to rise. And I tell you, from here, if we do manage to break out of here, then 50,000 is the next stop. It could happen very quickly. And then after that, we might even go very quickly in around June, July of this year towards the previous all-time high, because there's relatively little resistance there. Now, all depends on the fact that Bitcoin has to remain bullish. Of course, we do have the market makers at the moment, and they are really the ones that are sort of manipulating and determining in which direction Bitcoin goes. And I'm going to show you for that, some of the things that are happening regarding precisely that. For example, here, as you can see, when we had our big pump yesterday, you can see that we had about $45.76 million worth of shorts that got liquidated. And then over here as well, we had 21 million. Here we had a couple 100,000, and then again here 19 million. So as you can see, right now it has become relatively easy for Bitcoin to kill all the short positions, to get them to liquidate, so they can bring some money, some capital into the market. So it all depends on how we'll continue to see the market makers behave when it comes to this. And if we look at the liquidation map, for example, we do have here the different blocks for short and also the blocks for long positions. And so as you can see here at the top, we do have in blue our short positions that got liquidated. Many of them, here, as you can see, a very long or large amount of short positions that were open in the market. So a lot over here, but also if you compare it to how many long positions were open in the market, also there to be liquidated, it's almost, one could say almost the same. Luckily, at least for us right now, the market makers managed to push the price upward and instead liquidate all of the short positions rather than the long ones. Also here at around $47,300, you can see that's where a lot of FOMO long positions came into the market. So again, here as well, the market makers were able to drive the prices higher and then killing a lot of the short positions that were already there. And why did the market makers do this? Well, I know it sounds a bit bad, but they do it so that they can find this whole thing more interesting, more worth their while. They're trying to bring liquidity into the market by sort of luring people to come in and bring a lot of this new capital so that they, they can have more profit, and they can, of course, get more benefit that way. So it sounds not so good, but it is what they do. So, the only reason why I show you this is so that you also keep this in mind when you see that the market, so long as we, keep doing this, where the market makers keep killing the short positions, then that's also something to keep in mind. Depending on which bias you have in the market, of course, it could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. But do keep that in mind. I can only recommend it. In the Fear and Greed Index, we are back to greed right now. As we look at the yearly chart over here, we find that we are way past our previous range. And the question here is if, of course, this is going to remain consolidating for a couple of days. That's exactly what I want to see. And again, we are at 60 points right now, which is on the almost green side of greed. And this is why, they always say buy the fear, sell the greed. Over here, when we had this consolidation period, that's when, I personally came in and kept buying more Bitcoin. And that is what I recommend every time that you see that the asset is dropping, not just with Bitcoin, with other cryptocurrencies as well. That's at least what I do. I come in and I buy, and we're looking at almost 26% and a correction towards the upside. That's pretty much $10,000 here. So if you bought down there, then you're pretty happy that you did. Now let's go and look at Ethereum, where you can see we are finally above our resistance, yellow resistance line over here. And really, there's not a whole lot to look at here other than the fact that we have this big, huge double bottom, double floor over here. You also have another double floor, which is then in turn a double floor inside another double floor. So a lot of support down here. And it's very easy to imagine that Ethereum is moving towards $3,800, 4,000 very soon. If you haven't already, make sure that you like the video, today's video, and every time you watch one of our videos. Also, if you haven't, do subscribe to the channel. It is completely free. Hit the bell so you can be notified every time we post new content from Monday through Friday. And if anything changes throughout the day, if of course there's another big pump in the market or something of the like, then I would immediately go online and do a live stream. But if it doesn't, then of course then we will see us again tomorrow. So that is pretty much what I have prepared for you guys today. If you haven't already, check out the links in the description, especially my coaching service, bitbull-trading.com. And yeah, just when it comes to Bitcoin, do keep in mind that there's a CME gap that needs to be closed, that there's a possible retest of our support by the EMA Ravens. So long as we remain between 48,000 and 45,000 dollars, then things should be good for the price of Bitcoin. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. My name is Basti. Have a great day. Bye bye.